Hey everybody, it's Frozen with Outdoor Adventures and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at the Nitecore NU25 headlamp. My quick review, this has been an absolutely amazing headlamp and I love the features on it. I've used this for about 4.5 months now. It's been on several extended trips, it's been on night hikes, it's been on winter trips where it got down very, very cold, and it's obviously been on my normal 4-day and weekend trip. So let's take it to the table. We'll go over some of the features first, and then we'll go into the full review. Okay, so first off, what you're looking at here is the original headband that came with the lamp. Now, I opted for just a piece of shock cord on here, which makes the headlamp really, really light. The actual headlamp without a band comes in at 0.99 ounces, which I believe is 28 grams. And man, that's really, really light. However, if you add the strap in, it adds another ounce. Not a big deal, but for a headlamp this light, we really don't need this hefty duty of a headband. Now, don't get me wrong, this headlamp is perfectly fine and very, very comfortable. I just opted for the lighter option. In fact, this thing has a little feature on here where they put a little silicone band on here to stop sweat from dripping in. But I don't know, I still would, if you get the headlamp, I still would opt to just put shock cord on it, so that's what we're going to talk about right now. So just a little bit more about the shock cord, because I know people will probably ask me questions. I actually purchased it this way from lightsmith.com. Like I said, I did attach the band briefly, but I don't know, I went back with this mode. All they do here is they just run it through this back bracket plate. Maybe you can see that a little better. And they just kind of tie it off with some shock cord and make a little headband out of it. And it's really, really comfortable. It's actually way more comfortable than I thought it was ever going to be. So, like I said, I highly recommend not using the original strap and just going with some shock cord like this. Anyway, let's talk about the light modes of the headlamp, because that's where this headlamp really shines. All the light modes are controlled with 2 buttons on the top of the headlamp. One's for white and one's for red, pretty much. The red button also does additional things, but we'll get to that a little later. So let's start off with the modes. There's 4 modes with this main LED light right here. We got low, which is 1 lumen, mid, which is 38 lumens. We have high, which is 190 lumens. This mode is very, very viable for night hiking. And if you long press the white button, you will be presented with turbo, which is the 360 lumens that I was originally talking about. Now this mode is really, really nice for night hiking. However, this little headlamp does get hot on this mode, and once it senses and trips the temperature sensor, it will dim itself back down to high until it has a chance to cool off. If you try to go back into turbo, it'll actually immediately dim itself back into high. So you have to watch that. It's good if you really need to see a certain section of trail. Maybe you're in a rocky section, you really need 20 to 30 minutes of time to see your technical terrain. Now I'll go into the other button, the red button. We have 2 modes here. We have a red 0.9 lumen mode and a high, which is 13 lumens. This is probably the brightest red light I have ever seen on any headlamp that I've owned, and I've owned quite a bit of headlamps over the years. I actually really enjoy this. Usually I kind of skip the red light just because it's so dim and it's not useful for me, but I find myself using this a lot at 13 lumens. One last mode I want to talk about in here, if you hold down the white light mode, you can see that another, well, maybe you can't. There's another LED that lights up right underneath where the red light was. So if you can see that, here's the red light, and here's the mode that I'm talking about right here. It's the white light mode, and this is 20 lumens. Now, this is a great camp light. There is a whole bunch of specifics that this goes into. Basically, what you need to know about this, it stands for Color Rendering Index. It's CRI above 90. And for what I'm understanding, that's a 4500 K temperature. I don't know. All I know is that it works great around camp, and its runtime is quite significant. But it helps you see colors better, is the thought process behind here. I don't know. It works just fine as a regular camp light though. Now, one of my favorite features about this headlamp is the ability to lock. Sometimes with some of the other headlamps that I've used, I don't know why manufacturers skip out on this, but you can't lock the headlamp. you put it in your pack and you accidentally hit the button and then it drains in your pack. With this little headlamp, you can just hold both these buttons down up top and you can press buttons all day long and it's not going to unlock the headlamp. To unlock the headlamp, you just press the buttons again and you can see the light comes immediately back on. Excellent feature. I really wish every manufacturer would have that though. Let's talk about another great feature. This headlamp is rechargeable via a micro USB. It's a 610 milliamp battery and it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to charge depending on how dead the headlamp is. One thing I've noticed is when this starts dying, the light does dim. There's no indication on it. If it's on your head, you'll just start to notice that, hey, my headlamp is getting dimmer and dimmer. Now, a great feature that they added on here was if you hold down the red light button for a couple seconds, you can see that it blinks a couple times. Now, this headlamp is fully charged, and what this is telling me, since it's blinking 3 times, that means it's telling me that it's over 50% charged. If it blinked at me twice, it would tell me that the headlamp is under 50%. Now, if it blinks once, you may want to consider charging it because that means it's under 10% battery life. I think this is a great way of a battery indicator. I do wish the headlamp would blink at you when it starts getting below maybe 10-15%, but they still do a great job at this little indicator for the power. This headlamp is rated to IP66. What the heck does that mean, you may ask? That means that it can be used in the rain. It's water resistant. It is not waterproof. It's also dust proof, if that matters to you. One more thing about the lamp and its IP rating, it is also impact resistant to 1 meter. I've never really had to drop this. It being so light, I can't imagine that it would take a lot of damage anyway, unless you're dropping it up really, really high. Let's talk about the weight of this thing. This is where this product shines. For how bright this can get, the headlamp and bracket by themselves weigh 0.99 ounces, so just under an ounce, and we're talking about 28 grams for the bracket and the headlamp together. The strap on the headlamp, this one at least, weighs 4.9 grams, and if you're looking at the stock one, this weighs 24 grams just by itself. So you can see the weight savings by just putting the shock cord on here. And like I said, this is actually more comfortable for the weight of the headlamp. I actually like this better than the stock band. So how do I like the Nitecore NU25 headlamp with the shock cord band? I absolutely love it. This has become the only headlamp that I use these days. I don't even want to look at anything else unless someone has a real competitor to this one. Now, for those of you in the ultralight community that love the Petzl E-Light, this is probably your next logical progression because for pretty much the same exact weight, you have all those extra lumens and all those extra modes. You can still do the ultralight headband on it, and it's really, really comfortable. You'll have to try it for yourself if you don't believe me, but trust me, this headlamp and band is really comfortable. The bracket doesn't leave any marks on your head. I was a little worried about that when I first got it. The headlamp also bends to a 60-degree tilt. It has the white light mode, the spot mode, which is really good beam. It actually throws the beam all around you. I'm really, really impressed by how they fit such a powerful light inside such a compact and lightweight design. I love that it locks. I love that it recharges. You can actually power this headlamp with an external power bank and pretty much leave it on indefinitely until your power bank runs out, and it'll still charge and you can still use the lights and all the modes. Now, if you're going to do that, I recommend you find a 90-degree angle micro USB cable because it does and will hang down over your eye. But like I said, it can be done. So just wanted to mention that. I really have no problems with this thing. Maybe the only thing I could talk about is I kind of wish it had a replaceable battery. This thing has, I want to say, don't quote me on this, 500 charges and recharge cycles, which is insane. It's really, really nice. It's a high quality lithium battery. But I don't know, it'd be nice to just have a removable one. I don't know. Probably, I really can't find anything to complain about, so I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. Also, this thing is really inexpensive for what you're getting. $36 and you'll have this headlamp. For a couple bucks extra, if you head over to lightsmith.com, they will actually put this band on for you. Or like I said, you could just get it on Amazon and make it yourself to save some money. But that's what I opted to do, and they did a great job with the band design. So if you're interested in purchasing this headlamp, the links will be in the video description. If you go through Amazon, a portion of your order will actually go back to me and help support the channel in my future Appalachian Trail thru hike. So guys, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody.